Hey, this is Jen with Jen Diggy Junction, and it's been a while since I've done a What Sold video. July was one of the worst months I have ever had since starting to sell on eBay in 1998, but I still had some pretty decent and interesting sales, so let's take a look at what I sold and what I got for it. This is a false graph portfolio, nature wood flower pot, snow globe, um, anything false graph nature wood does well. I have seen like this in Hallmark um, ornaments and other Hallmark items. And this is the logo you want to look for right here. And it always sells, it sells well. It might have to sit a little bit, but I paid a quarter for this and turned it into $18. July is usually a pretty good month to sell cross stitch. You know, people are thinking about kids going back to school. Christmas is coming up. You know, when you see the Christmas stuff come out at Michael's and Hobby Lobby, you know, people who craft are starting to think about Christmas. And this was in a magazine. And I usually pick up magazines for a quarter. And what I tend to do is look inside them for interesting patterns. Really, the only decent pattern that I saw in this one was the birth cross stitch. And birth announcements tend to do pretty well on eBay. You know, I always make sure that I state that this is just for the magazine and not the completed item, because you'd be amazed. There are people who think that they are getting this completed item by me for $14.99. But still, a quarter into $15, you know, that's pretty good. I enjoy listing yearbooks. They are slow sellers and they sit forever. But when they sell, I usually get a good profit. I paid $1 for this yearbook and I sold it for $40. Now that said, I think I've had it listed for about 3 years. Um, you know, yearbooks do take up a little bit of space, but for the amount of profit that I get, I don't mind. If anybody's looking for more Christopher Doc Mennonite School yearbooks, come to my listings because I have a lot. Um, I found a whole stack at a thrift store one time, and I think that it was from a former teacher because they spanned years from like 1955 into the 70s. So I think it had to have been a teacher because nobody would have been in school that long. This was one of my what the heck is this thing? And I'm going to list it because it's right in front of me. When my grandmother passed away, a lot of her stuff went to auction, which I bought tons of it. I ended up bringing 8 carloads home between auction and the stuff that I cleared out of her trailer. And this was in one of the boxes. What this is they're little bobbins, and seamstresses or sewers or sewists, however, they started being called sewists during the pandemic when they were sewing masks. If they don't want to wind their own bobbin, they can drop this into their sewing machine and it's pre-threaded. And, you know, this is a nylon style thread. I had never seen anything like this before. It's probably from the 1960s, possibly the 1970s, but I listed it and it sold for $20, and it was from my grandmother's estate, so I don't even know what I paid for it, if I even paid anything, because it could have just been in stuff that my uncle was going to throw in the trash. One interesting thing that I have found when it comes to cross-stitch patterns is licensed characters are not always best, um, your best money makers. I had this on forever. I don't know who remembers Rose Petal Place from the 1980s. I thought this hedgehog was just so cute. And I thought about making him, but there's so many other things that I want to make. And, you know, I was too old for Rose Petal Place. I just liked it because it was a hedgehog and I thought he was cute. Um, But at one point in time, I would have thought that this would have brought in a lot more than it did. I had to sit on it for about 2 years, and it brought in $13, and I would have paid a quarter for this. I know nothing about video games. If it's past the Atari 2600, don't even ask me now. That was my gaming system when I was a kid, and all this new DS, Wii, whatever, things. I have no clue any of this. Game system, X stations or whatever they are. This, I did know that I should keep an eye out for Zelda stuff. And a new Goodwill outlet went in near me, and I am so excited about it. I have been there like 3 times. We're trying to lay low because of the pandemic, but I donned my N95 and I went, but I found this, and it's lightweight. It's like it's in a CD case, and it's this little, well, yeah, this little thing. And I ended up selling this for $20, and based on what I pay at my Goodwill outlet, I probably would have paid 25 cents for this. So that was a good profit. Did I mention that we have a new Goodwill outlet? I do believe I did. This was something else that I found. It was brand new, still sealed, and look, says Disney. Disney. And I had never heard of Disney Legends. It's a DVD about John Henry, Paul Bunyan, Johnny Appleseed. Our Goodwill outlet is a little bit different than others. We pay, it's about 8 cents an ounce, which, I mean, it goes by the pound, but it equals out to about 8 cents an ounce. And our media, books are 50 cents each. That's just flat out 50 cents each. But all hard goods, all clothes are $1.29 a pound, equals out to about 8 cents. Shoes are $1.59 a pound. And so this would have probably been no more than 3 ounces. So it was under a quarter. It sold within 48 hours of listing for $19. This is a 1987 cross-stitch pattern, or cross-stitch magazine. When I first started looking at it, I was just like, I'm not seeing much of interest here. This is just very basic, you can find them in almost any magazine patterns. Then I found this. A wizard birth announcement. Isn't that cute? It's adorable. And I had never seen a wizard birth announcement before. And so I priced it high. I paid a quarter for this magazine, if that, because sometimes I buy them in lots. And I sold it for $24. It took about 3 months to sell. This was a very long tail item. I have had it for about 4 years. I have had different offers on it, but I've just been like, no, I'm going to hold out for better money on this. From what I could figure, it was a concert pin from the 1970s. I kind of don't think that there's a lot of these around anymore. It's one of these kind with the, oh gosh, I don't even know what you call that. It just like flips down to hold it onto your shirt. I can tell it's a very old listing because I only had 3 pictures, and I was just using an art canvas as a background in this. I paid $3 for this at a thrift shop in Iowa. I actually remember where I bought it, and that would have been, well, I've only been to Iowa once. So that would have been after the big Nazarene convention in 2018, I think it was 2017. So I've been sitting on this for about 4 years, and $3 into 40, and as small as it is, I have like little jewelry organizers where I stick smalls, and I can hang them up in an extra closet or something. And like, when a piece of jewelry or a pin back sells, I just go and, look in them and find it. So, it didn't take up much space and just a fun item. Nicely done paint by numbers can like bring some decent money. Now these were big. Somebody spent a lot of time on them. They did have a few imperfections. You can see down here at the bottom. There's some stains on the back and such. It had been in a frame, but I took it out so that they'd be cheaper to ship. But you can tell that these are very nicely done. And oh gosh, what did I do? Anyway, I sold these for, how much was it? Oh, $24, and I would have paid probably about $3 for the pair, if that. I've had these for probably 20 years sitting in a death pile, but I finally got them listed and they sold, and it took a few months to sell, but they sold. I was in one of my favorite thrift stores. I found a whole bunch of these calico crossroads cross stitch patterns of cats. I mean, look how cute this is. And it says paperwork at the bottom. I mean, how cute is that? If I was into cats, I would have wanted to have worked them. But evidently, people collect these and they're out of print. And I had gotten something like 25 of these, and I paid 25 cents each. And I sold 19 of them within 48 hours of getting them listed. And I sold most of them for $9 each. Now, this is one that I got a little bit more for, but hey, I did take best offer on them because it was two different ladies wanting them. And one of the ladies lived in Canada, and it was like 20 bucks to ship as many as she wanted. And they're just cardstock. But yeah, I was very happy with the sale, and all of the others like it. And like I said, 25 cents into $9 times 23. This little guy had been sitting around on eBay for about 2 years now. He was one of my husband's very first listings when I was teaching him how to list on eBay. This is a Mack truck puppy dog plush toy. And I think we paid 50 cents for this guy at a thrift store and sold him for 25 bucks. I made sure to get all of my Olympic stuff on before the Olympics started. One thing that I learned with this is that it's no longer called Synchronized Swimming. It's like artistic swimming, possibly. And I paid, I can't remember if it was 25 or 50 cents for this at a thrift store that was having a jewelry sale. Buy two, get one free. So I have no clue what I paid for it. It might have been like 20 cents. It might have been 15 cents. I don't know. But this sold almost immediately upon me listing it. And the buyer asked if I had any more synchronized swimming stuff. So anything that says synchronized swimming, you definitely want to keep an eye out for it, because that is no longer the Olympic sport. It is now artistic swimming, I believe. So keep an eye out for that. And stay tuned. I will try to be doing my what sold videos a lot more often. I know I keep saying that, but I really am going to try. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I will see you soon for what sold in August.